like I try to let people, my story. Hopefully, my story can empower someone. Maybe things that I went through, and you can say, well, wow, he look at what he went through, or maybe I know somebody going through that,
Right.
and everybody probably knows someone that was locked up and stuff like that. So, and the world changed so much from just that little bit of time I was locked up. I was like, wow,
We're gonna elaborate on that.
yeah. So
So Attica was your last bid, and that was 17 to 21. You said it was a 40-month or 50-month bid you ended up doing,
yeah,
correct?
I
So
was
and that
in
and that
Shamont
ended with
County.
that ended with shock at Attica,
Yes,
correct? Okay,
absolutely.
that's where we did shock at.
Yep.
Now let's take it back to the beginning in '05 when you caught your first case. What what transpired there? What happened? I mean, and where did you go at that point? Because
Uh,
the laws were a lot different back then too. Uh, there was less technology, but I still feel like drug convictions were just on the up and up and up and up and up. Prison for profit was popping back then.
yeah. Yeah, it was, and I kind of fell into that. I don't know, out in Elmira, drugs and shit like that. I got caught up in a case. And it's funny too because in my first case I went to shock, in my last case I went to shock. So I had 4 bids. On my first and my fourth, I went to shock. In between, they kept me in jails.
Gotcha.
So on my first bid, well, basically, just running around in the streets. I just had my son was born in 2004.
Congratulations.
Yeah, my son was born
A
in
little late, but
2004.
congratulations.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He's 18 now.
Word,
Yeah,
damn,
he's
dude.
18 now. So he
So
was
born a year
born.
before you caught your case, correct?
Yes,
Just so I'm trying to put it in perspective for myself as well.
yeah, about a year around that time when he was a little bit after he was born, I ended up catching the case. And had let me out. Then I had to go through the whole court process. Then I ended up getting sentenced, and then I ended up going to shock. And I remember I was just telling, it's so crazy, man, because I can think about stuff now. Like the first time I saw my son walk was in Elmira prison. You know what I'm
Oh my
saying? So
god.
you got to kind of like, yeah, man.
Through
And
glass, or was it in a
no, he
visitation
he
area so
walked
you could
over to me as
right,
I was
and
on the floor. They let him walk, over to me and stuff like that. Like they brought him out the bathroom, and because I was already on the visiting floor, and I remember him walking to me. And like those are memories that I keep in my mind, man. Like I go hard for things that I just go hard for my son and just like things that matter to me, man. Like I love my child, and I feel bad that I missed that time, and I just feel like I owe him the best me.
right.
I feel like I owe him the best me because he missed out so much time with me. So that's why my energy and everything I do is just to try to tell my story,
Right.
and put myself in a position to do the most that I can for him from what I love doing.
Right. So I lost my father in 2015.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Appreciate it, but basically, was your did you was your are you comfortable talking with whether your dad was present when you were growing up?
Oh, so well, my father is actually a correction officer.
Okay.
That's how I got to Elmira, New York. I'm originally from Brooklyn, and we have roots through Brooklyn that brought us up to Elmira.
Okay.
So my father was working as a CO in downstate in Sing Sing and had got a way to come through to Southport. And that's how we moved through and grew up. So I'll say like early 90s. I've been in
Gotcha.
Elmira for
Okay.
like early 90s.
Word.
And we were coming from downstate area. Like I said, Sing Sing, that's
Hmm.
Ossining, New
Yeah,
York.
Austin. Yep. My
And
friend
we
has a
moved,
pizza shop there. Had a pizza shop there.
yeah, we moved up to Elmira. I was pretty young. I still remember from the city because I'm originally from Flatbush. That's where we used to live when I was in New
No
York.
shit.
Yeah, so we kind of came up through Elmira, and just
Brooklyn,
to
baby. That's what's up,
yeah,
right?
just to make I mean, I have New York City roots, but I grew up in Elmira, but
Right. Right.
and it is what it is. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't feel I listen. Elmira kind of shaped me as a person because that's where I spent the most of my time at.
Hmm.
That's where I went to school and things like that
You're
out there.
most impressionable in those
Yeah, I was
years, you
most
know.
impressionable out there. So, you know, now having, looking back at everything, man, and just to have the opportunity to kind of just to be home and to do the right thing and be the best that I can for my son, so to speak. So that's kind of what everything is based on.
So it seems like it brings you satisfaction to provide for, to keep the wells full.
Absolutely.
That's probably another motivation to keep continuing the entrepreneurial route you're on
Right.
and doing what you're doing, man. Like again, it's not easy. Everything's stacked against you in this world. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's a harsh reality, but it is what it is. Like, and to go through what you've gone through, and to again, I keep reiterating it, but at the same time, I feel like that makes the best artist. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be a big benefit to your not a another way this negative situation turns positive is it
Yeah.
maybe this is what chiseled the diamond El Honcho.
Absolutely.
These experiences are that hammer
Absolutely.
and chisel. One of them was unfortunately a jackhammer at Attica. It was not a fun sculpting experience at the same time.
Absolutely.
So Attica, chiseled you in and really solidified that mold. I feel like at the end of these three bids. Now, let's get back to our '05 one and continue here. So you had your son in '04.
Yeah.
You get arrested '05.
Yeah.
How long is this bid and where's this at?
Well, I get arrested in 2005. I get caught up, me and my man. I do the 60 days. No, wait, was it the 45-day motion?
Okay.
When I caught the case, they let me out. So I was out. I had a chance to, they gave me 6 months. They said they was gonna indict me. I ended up getting indicted. I was on like a little fake little run. You know what I'm saying? I ended up getting caught up. I go to Chemung County. I go to Elmira, and they said I was eligible for shock. So I had actually did shock twice. And I remember going to shock, and that was like the first time I was away. And I just remember telling myself, like, yo, I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna get this right and get this right. And that person that who I was at that time coming home on that bid, well, you can't never say anything about God's plan. God's plan is divine, and there will be some things I would tell that kid because my mindset was still, and I ended up catching another bit after that, and it spiraled. Like shock didn't help me then as much as it helped me now. I wasn't thinking how I am
Sure.
now from that shock till now,
Right.
going through that stuff for all those years, man, and just, having that be the narrative for so long and people knowing that, yo, you going to jail and this and that and the third. And just to have that on your shoulders, man, and being known as that guy going in and out of jail, I got tired of that shit. I just said, nah, you know what? That's not who I am. I'm way too talented of a person. My light shines way too bright and for me to be consistently not there and having these memories and people enjoying their time with me. And that's it, man. And my music and my lyrics is that's it. I know that this industry is not an easy industry to come into. So you gotta have some kind of relevance and substance of what you're saying. And I know that there's many great artists in the game now. So why would I even come in the industry if I didn't feel that this is where is a lot of different competition. I just feel like my story is too real to be denied.
I like that. I like that. That's a good motivation to make your music. Self belief is where it all starts. I mean, you can't if you don't believe in yourself, you might as well get the fuck out of here, go home.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you are the one that has to wake you up every day,
Yeah.
and it's the times you can do it when you're not motivated that really shapes you into who you are. Because you
Absolutely.
can't expect to get up every day and be like, I gotta go make mad songs, like and want to do it all the time.
Right.
It's not always like that. It's like there's those times you don't want to do it, and maybe these disciplinary situations help discipline you into that routine, of getting
Absolutely.
shit done
Right.
and knowing how important, okay, this is my value right now. This is how I'm gonna break my bread. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? This is what I need to be focused on,
Right.
you know? So first bid is '05 to what?
I came home '06.
First time offender, I'm assuming.
Yeah, first time offender. I was on what they call shock parole. I remember my PO at that time. He was trying to just give me the rundown. He had me going to these different things that I didn't really care about, like ADRC. And I'm like, why I gotta go to these stuff? I'm not really like a junkie, and I'm not nothing against those guys, but this is not
Right,
helping me. I
right.
need to be doing this and that, and that this is just is not helping me. So, I fell back into that mindset, yo, I'm gonna do what I want to do. And I ended up getting caught up again. And they at that time I thought they threw the book at me. but they smacked me pretty hard, and that led to different bids and just being exposed. And so all these combinations of different bids that I went through just through the years, man, just made me into like I had to come to a place where I said, "Look, I can't do it no more, man." And God, I really said a prayer, man. That I mean, I don't really know exactly what the prayer was, but I told myself a prayer when I was in prison, like on this particular time, God, don't make this for my life no more. Like I know I have a purpose in life, and it is not being in prison. It's not going through this. And I stuck with my pen, and I'm doing what I do, and God blesses those that He knows went through things. You know what I mean? So I had a lot of harsh nights. You know what I mean, just I mean, I could talk about it now, but at those times it was bad. It hurt. You know what I mean? To go through all of those times and people who you think is your friends or people who you think is your mans or these bitches who you think is your girl, and then you hear about this, that, and the third happening, then you feeling like, yo, I'm going through this, that, and the third all the time in jail. And then people thinking you a jailbird and just nah, man. My son growing up not seeing me,
Yeah.
that all weighs on who I am today. That it's just that tight mold and all of that stuff. I had to break out of that, break free from that, and that's why I'm letting the world hear my sound in a new way.
Right, man. That gives me insight on how you're shaped as an artist even further. It's just the system is the system. It's designed to keep you in the system, you know? It's unfortunate. It's one of the I tell every all my employees, don't get in the system. Like
Right,
don't break two laws at once. If you got to do some shit, shit happens. I get it. You're not a bad person over that, but
right,
just the system is designed to hold a motherfucker down.
right.
And not even only the prison system, even out in the real world. It's like, oh, now I got to get this job or I got this company. Now I got to pay these taxes. It's
Yeah.
like, damn, this shit is just really stacked against
Right,
me. So
right,
like,
right.
you got to be on your A game,
Absolutely.
and I don't know if and it's possible, but like without going through experiences like that helps you develop an A game.
Hmm.
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. It helps you, it makes you develop an A game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Literally has some of us boot camp. Like
right,
you,
man.
you you're at least getting in a routine and getting healthy. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely, man.
that
Um, I would say to be honest, man, it definitely, all of that stuff just helped me to be who I am, man, overall.
word. Yeah.
Word.
The things that all that stuff in your past, it doesn't define you. It just shapes you and chisels you and helps callous you to certain things or, give you wisdom in those situations you know that you could be risky because you
Hmm.
got something to lose. Not just your freedom,
Right,
but family and a successful business and a brand. It's not
right.
just it's much less selfish now. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
you got to be less selfish now. And again, it's as time goes on, you gain so much in your life that you have things to lose. You can't be spending time in a damn jail cell, man. Like it's
nah,
just not worth it.
nah, man.
For
So,
what? Especially these days, like these young boys are crazy, yo. You,
oh
you, get,
man.
you catch a murder bit over $10. Like I'm just saying,
Yo,
like
the
it's
world changed,
crazy.
man, a lot, man. Just to when I came home in 2021, I just saw the world like, yo, like the way how people were and just like the addictions and certain things and just overall just like the inflation of prices and just I had missed that chunk. I didn't even have what it was at the what am I trying to say? COVID and all of that type of stuff. I missed obviously all of
Like
that
you
type of
weren't
stuff.
out. Yeah, you were in prison during the pandemic when they shut the country down. You're
Yes,
saying.
yes. So like that whole being in the
Lucky
house,
you, it wasn't
yeah,
too
man,
much
like I
different
missed that
out here.
whole
I'm just
thing.
kidding, but
Yeah. And I bet that was a crazy time. I can only imagine,
right.
how the world was, at that time and how it affected how the world is even still now. Like so just making music, man, and trying to make music that counts and trying to have something that people can see from someone who actually went through shit. Like I went through this, I had that, and that's not who I am, but I had experiences by going through that, and I looked at that as an obstacle that I got past, and now it's time to be the person who I always was meant to be.
Word. Absolutely, man. That's good to hear. That inspires me too. That's again, anytime someone can do a complete or a complete 180 like that is it's just impressive. And again, with the odds stacked against you, it's dope to see. It's dope to see you have a good vision.
No
That's
doubt.
that's what it takes. A man without a vision is gonna perish or be incarcerated or die. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like it
right.
is what it is. You gotta have the right vision. So what's Honcho Media Group? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Honcho Media Group is it's basically another way where you can have access to me and different things that I may have going on. Like we promote Savage Rum on there. You have my videos is being promoted on there. I have a video out which is called Prime.
Yep, we're gonna
It's
preview
you
that during the show.
yeah, I have that on, so you can check for things like that, and just different platforms that I'm having. As far as what to promote my rum and things like that nature, I have a my clothing brand will be put on that as well. You know, that's all in the process. So it's just a different way to give you many different things that I'm doing on different platforms.
Right, that's dope. That's awesome. Um, so it's an expansion of everything else, and that's really smart to do things like that. Again, it just gives you multiple outlets.
Hmm.
Good for branding, good for SEO purposes. Then you get, who's on your team with that? Is this what with what Ed does
Yes,
with you?
Honcho Media Group consists of EP and which is my manager, EP and
Shouts to Ed.
Jason shouts to Ed Robles and Jason Tarico. Those are actually my partners and the CEO of Savage Rum, Jason Tarico, which are also my business partners. Um I'm the brand ambassador for Savage Rum through promotions and things like that. So shout out to EP, shout out to Jason Tarico, shout out to Rich Kenny, shout out to Cass and my whole crew out in Tampa. Shout out to Sadiq, the producers out in Tampa. And I met a lot of I met a few dope people out in Tampa. Shout out to Big Noid. I met Big Noid when I was out in
Nice.
Tampa. And shout out to Twin Gambino from Infamous Mob. I actually did a we did a little track together. Shout out to Twin Gambino and V12 of the Infamous Mob. I had a chance to bump into those guys when I was down there and stuff like that. So, low key Kilo is actually branching off in a couple of different ways, man. And I've already like I said, I had a chance to meet Big Noid recently, and I had a chance to meet Twin Gambino and V12 of Infamous Mob, and
Mhm.
we actually collabed on a song that hasn't been released yet, but it's pretty dope. And
Is this
just
for a
just trying to
project you're working on, or
yeah, well, it's actually for Twins project per se, and it has still has to be completed more or less, but it's an up and coming track that's on the way. So I was excited, to meet those guys. Those
right?
are those guys are like legends, obviously.
Building a
Anything,
network, yeah, and it's about who you know out here, and making those connections and literally interacting with people.
yeah.
It's like you said, you got to, you go to Tampa from Elmira, that's 1,800 miles. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So you move, you got to move, you got to be on the move all the time. You
Absolutely.
got three brands that you're pushing. Your artist, your Low Key Kilo, and obviously Savage Rum and Honcho Media, and
Hmm.
that's being the brand ambassador. Don't sell yourself short, like you're the face of the brand,
Right.
essentially. So yeah, like you're constantly on the move. Like you can't be in jail. You know what I mean? You got to be
Absolutely.
moving.
I
So
gotta be moving.
right, you got a lot to lose, man. And it's dope to see you build this empire. Like trust me, it's going in the right direction. And I've met Ed or whatever you call him. I
Hmm.
never heard him call. I met him at,
Hmm.
and then we'll talk about how I came to meet you guys to begin with. But
Yeah.
you know, they definitely are some business minded people, and I feel like it's really important to have people like that in your corner because they're going to go out of their way to make sure that you're getting the right treatment, taken care of, right,
Absolutely.
right, compensation, whatever it may be. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's definitely important. They seem like some pretty intelligent guys.
Hmm.
So that's a great great thing to have in your corner, bro. Trust me,
No
it's
doubt.
a lot of things I have to do alone, and it's not a one man band a lot of the times.
Yeah.
When we met at the Black Soprano family video shoot,
Absolutely.
you saw what I was doing there, running around like a crazy dude.
Yeah.
So with 5 cameras or 4 cameras trying to make sure I capture stuff. So,
Yeah,
by myself. But that's sometimes how I got to do it to get into these situations and,
no
and
doubt.
and to meet people like you. So I want to know about. And I know you went to Buff State, and I believe correct. Correct me if I'm wrong with Buff.
Oh, no, go ahead. Say what you're saying.
Right. So I met you at the Black Soprano
Mhm.
family video shoot with Benny the Butcher, Rick Hyde, El Camino, and Heem
Yeah.
for St. Maurice. Shouts to BSF.
Shout out to BSF, man. Buff, Benny,
Shouts to Big
Rick
Buff
Haheem, the whole gang, Jonesy, Shooter, the whole BSF gang, man. Shout out to all those guys, man.
for sure. And I definitely second you on that without having to say all those names. But shout outs to all of them because they definitely are holding some heavy influence in the game right now. They're working. They're always on some stuff, and to see you around people like that and come into contact with you around people like that is a positive sign in my opinion. You're around all the right people. So how did you guys come to create the relationship between you and Black Soprano family? Um, in that situation that like I said, we met in, like you were au gratis on a video shoot.
Yeah.
They're passing you champagne and making sure you're taken care of. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
they're obviously showing love.
Absolutely.
How did this relationship come about?
Um, yeah, man. Shout out to BSF. I met so I was telling you I went to Attica. And when I left Attica, they switched me to Wyoming.
Okay.
And I was in Wyoming, and I remember summer of oh no, wait, was it summer of 18? Yeah, summer 18, I was over there. So now I get over there and it's going crazy. It's gang shit going on, all types of shit. So now they got me in the back. So, I'm going through the processing. Somehow I end up getting to the front. Long story short, I ends up getting this. They got an annex and they got a main to the jail. The annex is people who been there know it's just a lot of gang shit. Shit's crazy. You can get your shit blown all the way the fuck off back there. And that one particular part of the jail, but there's another part that's kind of same shit, but kind of not on that type of time. So I
Right.
ends up moving to the front. And I remember being in the bunk. I'm in prison and I'm listening to my beat and somebody hits my bunk. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I'm like, and I look, it's Buff. Now at the time, I don't know Buff. He's in jail with me. We're both incarcerated. And he looks at me and says, yo, what's up? I'm like, yo, what's good, B? He's like, yo, that's Ghostface? And I'm like, yeah. Because I was listening to Supreme Clientele.
Yeah.
This is a true
Right.
story.
Right.
So I'm listening to Supreme Clientele. So he like, yo, that's fire. Like, and he's like, you got some more woo. So I'm like, who's this dude asking me about? I don't know. In prison, you kind of don't open the door to people
Right.
when you meet them.
Of
But he
course.
was he see what I said? Wu-Tang, that connection, just the sound brought us together. That's how we met, listening to Wu-Tang.
That is so dope. That is dope.
So I come off, I'm like, yo, Al Hunch. He like, yo, Buff. He's literally sleeping right across from me.
That's mad funny.
So now we get to kicking it. Yo, I'm from Elmira. Boom, boom, boom. I'm from Buff. At the time, I don't know how much time he had in. We're around the same age, but he
Right.
just had time in. He had
Right.
way more time than I had in. And I
Right.
remember, I was like, damn, I felt like, damn, that's kind of fucking crazy. He had all that time
Right.
in, and we're the same age. So, we get to talking and stuff like that. And we had a good vibe. Like the energy was good. He slid a tape. It was another Wu-Tang. I had something else. He pulled out a couple flicks. Yo, what's up? And it was the energy off the rip. Listen. Shout out to Buff, man.
I fuck with Buff.
Shout out to
Big
Buff,
big shout
man.
out to Buff.
Big shout out to Buff.
BSF Buff.
Yo,
For
when I
real.
met
That's my guy.
when I met the man, it was just an authentic thing. Mind you, I didn't know who he was.
Right.
I didn't meet you like that. I didn't
Right.
meet you saying who's this and this and
Right.
that. I met you as a comrade in prison.
Right.
We was
Just
listening
another
to
guy.
beats. Just another guy.
Right.
So
Connected by music.
connected by music. So we get to kicking it. And I mean, it just happened. It's just his vibe. They say his vibe was just awesome. And we got to kicking it. And then a little bit about his case. Not really too much. We still feeling each other. Boom, boom, boom. And we kicked it. And then we just, where they say you break bread.
Yeah,
So when you break bread in prison with somebody, that shit is meaningful.
right.
Whereas compared to in the streets, people just say it. So
Because
if
like you said, you don't just open the door to people.
no, no,
It
you
takes
don't.
time. You
Yeah,
gotta
it takes time.
and you still run the risk, you know what I mean, of trusting a motherfucker for essentially. Not Buff specifically, but in that atmosphere.
Yo, if a man, okay, I'm gonna break it down in on a term that people who've been through this will know.
Thank you.
When you in prison and you have eating partners, that's big. That's not. That's these are my eating part. This is somebody who I break bread with.
Right,
So me and Buff started eating like seafood rice. We really became friends. This is somebody who we grew a bond in a harsh place.
hell
And
yeah.
things that I told him that I went through in my life, and things that he went through that he told me he went through in his life.
Right,
We had held on to that. Like, yo, son, this is how we navigating through how we getting through our bed.
right,
Things that I would tell him to help him, things that he'd tell me to help me so I won't lose my head on somebody in here, things that I tell him
right.
to keep him sustaining.
Accountability.
So now that's how we meet. So I don't know exactly when. I maybe say a week or so after that, I think he was making something to eat,
Because
maybe
he just got out too.
he
Correct me if
came
I'm wrong.
yes, he came home, I wanna say around Valentine's Day or Valentine's
Okay,
Day,
cool.
recently just passed last year, and I came home in October, so he came home just a couple of months before me, and I remember he came to the Cube, and he heard me rapping. Mind you, he still ain't say nothing about nothing. He never
You gotta be
mentioned West Side
careful
Gun,
there. You
never.
know what I mean? You're in
Yeah, he
jail. Like
never
that's not
mentioned
something to get out.
anything.
You don't want out.
And he heard me rhyme. Like, yo, that's actually kind of dope, son, And it wasn't like this even I'ma do. It's just like, yo, that's dope. And then after a while, I kept writing. I'm keeping my stuff. I'm in the yard with it. Yo, son, I got da 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 da. Da. So he's getting a chance to see that, like, yo. So that's kind of how we,
Consistency.
yeah, that's kind of how we built our bond. And I had got moved. And this is when I really felt the energy. So I got moved from the dorm that we were in. We were in the dorm for a while together. And we was making a meal just like we normally do. And the CEO was like, yo, pack it up. Me. So everybody like, damn, where the fuck you going? I'm like, yo, I had to go over here because I had to go move to another dorm to help. The job that I had required me to live in this other dorm. So I remember Buff was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Because we was already kicking it. We can still catch up, but we just not gonna be in the same dorm at the time. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. Yeah, which sucks, man, because
This is
that
crazy.
that's a support system.
This
You
is
know what
my
I mean?
guy.
Right.
We kick it.
Yeah.
So I never forget this. We moving my stuff to another dorm, and he helped me take my stuff over there. I'm carrying all these draft bags
Word.
on the walkway. I got the little pulley thing. I'm pushing my stuff, and Buff is talking to me. So when I went into the dorm, he went in the house and he found everybody that was from Buffalo. He's like, yo, who from Buffalo? Who from? And they all came to him, yo, what's up? And he said, yo, this is my man right here. You know what I'm saying? Make sure he good. You know what I'm saying? This is a good. And that's when I was like, yo, son, I'm out. He's like, nah, make sure he good.
Are you serious?
And I was like, all right. And then when I left, I'm talking about the stuff just started coming to my cube. Books, this, what you need, a bowl. Somebody sent a bowl. Something came from over here. And it was just, I
That's
kind of was like,
embarrassing. That's
yo, you know what I'm
dope.
saying? I remember how I felt like, yo, that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then being in the yard and he like, yeah, boy, then when he had told me who he was to West Side and just the whole thing, man. And we always kicked it. And yo, we'll catch up when we get out there, man. And we just man, Buff was the wreck aid, man. I could talk about it now. It's just funny. He was the
Right.
guy who passed you the best. Like you come to the window, yo, what you need? A basketball? All right, you make it. And that's Buff. Buff was the wreck aid
Hell
in
yeah.
Wyoming. Like that's my man. So
Right.
I'm
Nothing
blessed.
wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Nah, but
Nah.
when I see him, you gotta imagine how it is for me to see him. Like, yo, that's my
Right.
man.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is from here to there, and
Yeah.
it's all the
Two
same
opposite
thing.
ends of the spectrum,
Two
you know?
opposite ends of the spectrum. So it's a blessing, man. Like for that, that's how you come to met me. We met each other and things like that. And yeah, Buff is just a dope dude, man. And he came home. I came home first, and I kind of reached out to his people, and then he came home and hit me. So, he hit me up and stuff like that. And yo, I'm home and stuff. That was just dope. And he kept, yo, I'm staying on my stuff. I'm on my stuff. I'm writing, I'm doing this. He like, yo, keep doing your thing. And one night, I'm in the bed with my shorty, and my phone rings. It's like 12:30. No, it's like 12:15 at night, right around the playoffs. It's a late game.
Okay.
And the phone ring is Buff. So I'm like, yo, what up, B? What's good? He like, yo, hold on. Somebody wants to talk to you. This was last year
And
playoff
you
time.
still didn't even know the depth of his involvement here.
He passes the phone. He was in Boston. He passes the phone to West Side Gun. I'm looking at West Side on the phone, bro. I'm in my bed. I ain't got no shirt on.
Right.
He like, yo, welcome home, Hunch. You gotta imagine how I feel, bro. So the only
Right.
thing I could say was boom, 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 son,
Do, do,
yo.
do, do.
And so
Shouts to West Side Gun too.
yeah, man, shout out to West Side Gun. I met him through a video camera meeting through Buff, and I'm telling you, man, it just these is shit you can't make that type of shit up. And
Right.
I think for Buff, it was more.
Especially just coming home from a
Yeah,
bid, man.
he
Like,
knows I did all that time. He knows
right.
everything I went through. And so to be able to have that, it just, that shit touched me, son. I'm gonna keep it a buck, son. That shit touched my
I bet
heart,
it
son.
did.
And he was like, yo, son, welcome home. And it's dope that you home, son. Like basically, yo, you here, son. And yo, I didn't even know what to fucking say, son. What do you say? Even my girl was in the background, like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Is this a prank?
Is
Yeah,
this a prank?
right.
But it
That's
can't be a
mad
prank
funny.
because
No,
here he
it's
is.
right. I'm just saying, like, that is some shit right there. I never knew that story.
Yo, man, that really happened, man.
That is just like that just goes to tell you what type of dude Buff is, though. Like, he's a solid motherfucker.
Yo, man. So now, mind you, I'm spinning. So right after that, he says, Westside, yo, Hunch, hold your head. We out here, whatever. I'm like, wow. I'm thinking that's it. Yo, he passed the phone to Conway,
Oh
boy.
my God. Shouts to Conway, too.
Shout to Conway,
Conway
right?
the machine.
So I'm like, yo. And for me, it just was like, yo, peace, Hunch. And how I feel is just like, at that particular time, that's when everything was going on in Buffalo with the shooter and all that type of stuff. At that particular time.
Yeah.
And I remember just telling him when he answered the phone, I said, yo, I just want to give love to Buffalo in general, son. I know y'all going through something. I don't want to be lost in this moment of meeting y'all or lost in this moment of just saying what I need to say to y'all, because as a whole in Buffalo, something is going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's right on Jefferson. That's blocks from their neighborhoods.
And that's what I chose. That's what I wanted to say to Conway first. And he was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to him at that time. And I had a chance through Buff to meet them. And then Buff came back to the phone. So that's kind of how, that whole relationship was just leading up to. So from there, I'll say a couple weeks later, now we're in Manhattan. Buff calls me again.
Okay.
He's in Manhattan. I want to say maybe downtown somewhere. And he's like, somebody wants to talk to you. He passes the phone. This time it's Benny.
Shouts to Benny the Butcher.
Shout to Benny the Butcher. So now, and I want to say this too. I had a chance to meet that man. He's a very humble guy, man, and a very good guy, man. I personally met him, and from as compared to what you may think, or just meeting him in person, very humble person, very good person, and I was just afforded the greatest opportunity to be around him. So shout out to him again. But he kind of was like, yo, I've been hearing your Hans spit some bars.
Yep.
So again, I'm on the phone like, yo, I got this. I spit some bars and stuff, and I want to say they went on one of the shows, Sway and Tech. I think it was on their way into that show. So
that was recent, a couple months ago.
All of that was culminating into then they did Plugs Meet Plugs.
Okay, yep.
My boy Devin back there, we went to Plugs Meet Plugs this summer, and that I got invited to that through Buff. All of this was leading up into that, and that was when I got a chance to meet Tony De Niro. Shout out to Tony De Niro,
and I got Tony De Niro.
I got a chance to meet Benny. That's when I met him in person that day.
Right.
I met him at the Plugs Meet Plugs, and tore that shit down, son. That his whole performance, that shit was dope, son.
Right.
Everything.
Nah, Benny's probably one of the most down to earth artists, especially with the amount of success he's had. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? He's a good dude. I like him. I got nothing but respect for him.
Absolutely.
I mean, I met a few, you know, rappers and artists and famous people, and I'll tell you, like, he takes the cake as far as being humble, being
Yeah.
a real dude. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, he's solid. He's a solid
Absolutely.
cat for real. That whole
Absolutely.
team though is too. Like
All of those guys.
Ricky Hyde, like Heem, Camino, all those dudes are solid. Like they're just some real motherfuckers, you know. And
Yeah.
again, I feel like you're that way too. Like
No
it's
doubt.
just ain't no faking going on. Like this is what it is, man. This is what
Right.
we do.
Right.
We're here to take
Right.
over, kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
And
gotta have respect for that movement.
yeah, man. I just think that coming from Western New York and just what they're doing in the game is just dope. It's just and hip hop in general. But coming from Western New York, me living in Western New York is dope. I love it.
I can relate to you so much,
It
man.
just gives a different energy to this area and a different pride, you know what I'm saying?
Right. A
And
lot of
a
pride,
lot of pride,
man.
man. Not in a bad way, not in an
No,
arrogant way,
no, we got pride in that
just
shit.
a
That's
lot of
good.
pride and a good feel and a good vibe about being from where you from and being proud to be where you from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think
Absolutely.
those boys bring that to the table a lot harder than a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Just being proud of where you from. So, yeah, so I had that opportunity. I went to the Plugs Meet Plugs, and then that's how it all turned culminated to when we met,
Right.
recently at that video shoot. What was that, the Saint more
St. Maurice. Yep.
and that was just exclusive. So just being able
Dope
to
experience, man. You
come
know,
on,
it's
man. I just
remember, man, like a little over a year ago,
y-
you're in
yeah,
shock or
man.
whatever.
Who would ever believe,
Right.
if the guys can see me now, some of the guys that I was in prison with that unfortunately are there, if they could see all the different things, some of them would say, "Oh, nah, son used to be on his shit though every day."
Right.
So some of them would say, "Oh, whatever," but
I knew it was gonna
I
happen.
knew they wouldn't be
Right.
surprised because this is all I did when I was up top, man. Just fuck with the music and shit like that.
But I mean, it should be a testament even to those coming out. You know what I'm saying? Like it just that's you're jumping leaps and bounds in a short period of time. And it's just again, it's being a real dude because Buff ain't, Buff is one of the realest motherfuckers I know. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, he ain't gonna bring no fucking bullshit around.
come
Like,
on,
fuck
man. You
that.
know that.
Nah.
Word.
So that's again like one more major positive life changing thing
Yeah,
that
man.
you couldn't probably have made that connection without going through what you went through, you know? So
Absolutely.
it don't define you, but that shit chiseled the fuck out of you. You
Yeah,
feel
man.
me? And really
Absolutely.
afforded and provided some good opportunity
Yeah,
that you
man.
wouldn't be able to do.
Absolutely. Again, they always say you never know what God is going to do in your life. God can take a bad situation and turn it into something spectacular. So,
Absolutely.
you never know what's in God's plan for
Right.
your life.
And
Nobody
you can't
does.
change it.
And that's I'm kind of like a living testament of that, man. All the way true and true, man.
And getting rewarded for going through hard times, you know?
Right.
Like,
Right.
think about that. That Attica Bay was the hardest of them all.
Oh man.
Going through that, coming out, getting rewarded with even just having a relationship with like Buff,
Right.
like that's a
Right.
great person to have a
And
connection with
he
and a
he
relationship
did
with.
he did a lot more time. He did some more time than me. So he did
I don't
a
know how many
stretch.
years he did.
And so for him to
I know he
be
was gone for a minute.
yeah, for him to be doing this thing, man, it just for me, when I tell him, I say, yo, son, I look to you and it's a blessing, bro, because it just shows me like this is what could be happening. And so I fight and I push even harder, so
Definitely motivation for sure
absolutely.
at bare minimum, right?
Right.
So I just want to make sure we just cover the main things here, and let's just get back to the Savage Rum because again, that's not a small thing. Like you got two bottles of rum in front of you that you're the face of the brand and you represent them and again, shouts to Ed,
Shout to Ed Robles,
shout
shout
to
to Rich
Savage
Kenny,
Rum.
shout to Jason Tarico, shout to Cash, shout to my whole team out in Tampa, doing big things, man. Savage Rum, man. Well, I go to Tampa. EP's my brother-in-law.
Yep.
We're
Okay.
brothers, and I go out there and we're kicking it and stuff like that. And he tells me, the next day, as I was working on so when I went to Tampa, I left this out. When I went to Tampa, I did 3 videos. I did Prime, I did or actually 2.5, because I still gotta put another end on it. But I did Prime, I did Moonwalker, and I did the first part of Raindrops, and I did 9 songs. I recorded 9 songs in the studio
Nice.
out there. And around that
Productive
time,
trip,
yes, I mean,
you know?
in a week trip, I made sure I got a lot done. But prior to that trip, I had met Jason Tarico, and basically, he's the CEO of Savage Rum, and we kind of met, obviously through Ed. And his whole thing was, he's coming with this rum, and he, pretty much putting it on the scene. And he showed me a little bit what he was already doing in Tampa with it. And then, words was exchanged. Oh, hey, he does some music. Okay. So I did a promotional song. Actually, you can check that. That's on YouTube. I did a promotional song for Savage Rum, and he kind of asked me if I wanted to get behind it. How I felt like maybe joining forces with him, and then the rest is history. I'm joining forces with him, and we just trying to use this as a different platform or other platforms of what I'm doing. I'm not just doing music. I'm branding and doing different things and on other levels. So I don't
Right.
want to just be. I don't want to come into the game as being a one trick pony. I got a different other things that that
Definitely.
different venues
You
and
have to
different.
be multifaceted, man.
Yeah.
Like music's just a tool in your box. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like that's what's helping you promote Savage Rum. You're gonna
Right.
that's a streaming a way to stream that brand through your music,
Right.
and bring exposure and attention to it.
Yeah.
So you have to be multifaceted, and you have to, and in order to do that, you have to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Like they actually teach that in college now. Isn't that funny? Like you
Mhm.
take entrepreneurialism or something like
Yeah.
that, or high school even offers it. I was shocked they didn't do that when we were
No, they didn't
young.
have entrepreneur
Fuck out of
classes.
here, man. We were learning history that wasn't even real.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
switched. They done switched it all up. Like
Yeah.
math, everything's different.
Yeah.
It's
A lot of
crazy.
the school stuff is different. That is funny you say that. A lot of that stuff is
It's
different.
crazy.
2023 El Honcho. Well, uh I think my video on Moonwalker is the next thing to come. That should be coming definitely by next month. So I
Okay.
got a movie, I said a movie. I got a video on Moonwalker that's on the way. El Honcho Prime is already out. So
Definitely go
you
check out
already checked out Prime is already out.
that's your newest video, right?
Mhm.
Prime. Nah, that's hot. That's a hot video.
Thank you,
I
man.
took the time to check that one out. You got some dope shots down there. So Tampa looks like where it's at,
Yeah,
or Florida at least.
Tampa was the is a premier spot on some vacation if you just trying to get cake back. So I had a chance to go out there, shoot the Prime video, shoot a couple videos. It was real nice.
Word.
Also for 2023, I'm gonna introduce a couple of my new artists. I got a couple of artists down with Low Key Kilo that's gonna come out um into the in this year. I got my boy Dame who's here. He's gonna be coming out this year.
Word. Word. So you got some artists
I
that are
got some
involved in
artists that's about to get down with the wave. I got my man G Mikey. He's out in Albany, New York. So, I'm about to get ready to show the world, the different elements. It ain't just El Honcho. There's a couple other couple dudes in the cut that's on the way. So I got
and
my
these are
man
all
G
from
Mikey.
Elmira, all these
No, no,
artists?
my man G Mikey is actually from Albany. I met
Shouts
him
to
through the
Albany.
trenches. Shout outs to Albany. Old Block, I believe. So, shout out to them guys over there. I got my man Marty Grams by way of Utica in Queens. So shout out to him. Marty Grams is kind of pretty heavy in the URL leagues.
Okay.
So he's a battle rapper,
Word. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
coming out of Queens, and I got
Shouts to
some links with
Queens.
him. And also I got my man Jad. He from Elmira. He's actually pretty dope. So he'll be coming out, my boy JP. So I got some stuff that's really about to start hitting them, man. I'm about to start showing the world, the different elements that is low key kilo, and me being the top gun, and just really paving the way for the whole brand. You know what I'm saying? We paving the way. I'm a make a path and bring my people through. So shout out to all those people, man, and G Mikey and my whole team. We on the way, man.
I mean, you got a lot of responsibility there, bro, but I couldn't see a better person in the position, you know?
No doubt.
You got to make sure you use these experiences you've gone through and what shaped you today, and help lead others, to a better life. Any way you can
Absolutely.
improve someone's life, it's worth it.
Absolutely. Two of the guys, G Mikey and my boy Marty Grams, they both was in shock with me.
Okay,
So we
gotcha.
kind of
Another
carried it
relationship
away.
that
They
got
out
built.
there doing their thing, and we all
Word.
kept in touch, you know. So it's a lot of ties that I keep with dudes that I had that have a same or similar story. So we all on the same path, and we doing our thing like that. So low key Kilo's gonna come out in a fresh way this year, and I just feel that at this particular time in hip hop, I feel like we got something to give the world. So stay tuned.
Word. I'm looking forward to seeing that, man. I follow you pretty closely, and again, it's going to be a big year for you. I feel like, and
No
you got
doubt.
many more to come. You just got to keep this consistency and keep this positivity you got because, like I said, a lot of people in your corner. You got a good support system. You know some good people. Like all that's left is battling with yourself. You know what I
That's
mean?
it.
Make
That's
that
it.
music,
Let's get it.
get it going, get them
Hmm.
videos done because that's how you're going to promote the brands. You
Yeah.
know,
So
keep it rolling. Like keep this energy. This is what's important. You know.
yeah.
So we started with a freestyle, and I think we should maybe cap with one, and we could go over that second beat we discussed if you're
Uh,
interested in that.
yeah,
If
we could
not,
do that, man. I mean, if low key Kilo, man, El Hanchi, man,
word. Let's
we
cue
can
a
let
beat
that
up then.
go, man.
Let's get that. Let's get
We can
it.
let that go, man.
So once again, we got El Honcho coming all the way from Elmira. You know, shouts to El Honcho, shouts to Ed, shouts to the whole
Low key Kilo, man.
Savage
Savage
Rum,
Rum.
Low
Y'all
Key
know the vibe,
Kilo,
man. Let's get it.
word. And we already did Horde, like right.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna do Burn now.
Let's get it.
Yeah, so we already did Horde. Now we're gonna get into Burn here from Mob Deep, man. Let's just blaze this real quick. I already know you're gonna. So once again, shouts to El Honcho from Elmira.
You know the vibe. Let's go. Low key Kilo, man. El Hanch. Elmira, New York, 607 shit. Y'all know the motherfucking vibe, man. We here, we in the building, man. Let's go. Low key Kilo, nigga. El Hanch, man. We talk to these niggas, man. Listen. Yo, 17B, 3056, back on my shit. Fiends OD off the rhymes I'm packaging. Hundreds of grams a day, yay, I'm averaging. Hoes I don't call back, say I'm arrogant. 13B, 1925, bunch of goony niggas out the mess hall line. Vision seen only through eyes that did crimes, and everybody after they own slice of the pie. 07B, 1850 physic, punch one of you bitch niggas all in your shizit. Fuck what you heard, the boy Hans terrific. Actually talking the shit that I'm living. 05B3247 TOP goon, my nigga from the beginning. I had a spot that did numbers back on Division. You lames thought you could like the little engine. Don't get me started. I rip these artists. Half of you whack niggas is garbage. Back out the arms, you'll get blown out your garments. My numbers rose, so they lowered the margin. Tied up, you'll be alone in the forest. The wood chips and the rocks will be your coffin. Temperature drop, you gon' freeze when it's beef. I roll up just like sleeves. I got mines by stashing work on the leaves. Drink so much it'll give me the dry heaves. I gotta go light on the savage rum. When it's beef, I go grab the gun, then go add a drum. I leave your body in the ashes, son, for thinking you could play around with Maryland's son. Low key all day, invading the mainframe. I'm like, fuck what everybody is doing, I'm getting paid. Bang, bang, when I'm aiming the gauge, I'm fresh out the cage. Low key low, nigga. Let's go, nigga. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, man, we doing
Once
it,
again,
man.
chopping it up with Low Key.
Let's get
Low
it.
Key Kilo Entertainment, and of course, the face and ambassador of Savage Rum, El Honcho.
Low key
from
Kilo
Elmira, New
Entertainment. Yo, thank you for having me, beloved.
Word.
Yeah, we over here burning them up.
Why don't we pull up the video that you did get shot down there, and that was for Prime, because that is your latest single. We're gonna make sure we're in some 4K mode here, and I like that. Boom. And let's take a look at this and just kind of see, let's let the world hear this too, because I think this is a big record, and obviously it represents the brand pretty well. So, yeah, let's jump right into this right now. It's El Honcho, and the song is Prime.
Yeah. I'm like Allen Iverson, Georgetown. Nah, fuck that. I'm like Larry Bird, 85. Nah, fuck that. I'm like Barry Sanders, 92. Yo, I'm in my fucking prime, man. Low key Kilo Entertainment, El Hanch. Listen. I turn my time to a fucking grind. Low-key El Honcho, I'm in my fucking prime. I turn my time to a fucking grind. Low-key El Honcho, I'm in my fucking prime. I turn my time to a fucking grind. Low-key El Honcho, I'm in my fucking prime.